This is part 2 on how to do the head gasket and the timing chain on this 2014 Ford F-150 with the 3.7-liter engine, and the same applies for the 3.5. Lightly lubricating the cylinder walls to protect them and help the piston rings seat smoothly, while making sure the deck surface of the block stays clean and dry so the head gasket seals properly. Lubrication benefit: prevents initial dry friction during startup, protects the honing pattern, and avoids corrosion if there's a delay before firing the engine. Now, just in case you're removing the transmission, here are the bolts on top. That is one right there. And there's another one right there. And there's another one right there. And finally, that one down there. Those are the 4 bolts on top of the transmission. Now you know it. Alright, got the cylinder heads back from the machine shop, and they look beautiful. The camshafts and camshaft caps, including the bolts, are installed only by hand. Nothing has been tightened. They reseated or cut all the valves according to manufacturer specs, resurfaced the heads, and checked the valve clearance. This is how the surface looks. It looks beautiful. Look at the valves, they look so nice. It looks like they're seating perfectly just by seeing them. Alright, time to install the head gasket. But before it goes on, make sure it's the right one, perfectly clean and ready, because one mistake here means the engine won't seal right. Inspect the new head gasket, compare it to the old one, and only remove it from the package right before installation. Handle with clean, dry hands to prevent contamination. Before installing the cylinder head, make sure the mating surface is completely clean and dry. For best results, wipe it with a fine, lint-free cloth to avoid leaving any residue, as even small debris can cause serious sealing problems. And lastly, before installing the cylinder head, ensure the engine block surface is clean, dry, and free of any debris or old gasket material. Ensure the deck is spotless and dry. Follow the correct orientation. This gasket only fits one side, cannot be flipped, and holes must align perfectly with the block. This one has the letter R, but it only fits the driver's side. Sometimes that's due to engine orientation or aftermarket markings, but trust me, it's for the left side only, so don't get tricked or confused. Don't let the letter R fool you. It won't fit on the passenger side. These gaskets are different, not interchangeable, and must go on the correct side only. From this angle, you can see the letter R a little better. Again, don't get confused. It won't fit on the right side, even if you try flipping it over. This piece is not designed for the right side. Now install the cylinder head. Again, ensure the surface is dry and clean, so the mating surfaces will make a perfect seal. Remember, the camshafts and cam caps are loose. Nothing has been tightened yet. Camshaft position sensor installation. Lightly lubricate the O-ring on each camshaft position sensor before installation. This helps prevent O-ring damage and allows easier installation. Tighten the retaining bolt to 89 inch-pounds, 10 millimeters. This procedure applies to both passenger and driver side camshaft position sensors. Installing 2 new studs that are missing on this head. Tighten them to 106 inch-pounds. Install the exhaust manifold gasket. Again, ensure the surface is clean before installing the cylinder head. Now for the passenger side gasket. This one has the letter L, but don't get confused. That L is not for left side of the car. Install the gasket, taking care not to touch its surface with oily or greasy fingers, as contamination can prevent the gasket from sealing properly. Install the cylinder head. Notice, I am installing this head with the exhaust manifold already attached. This is because it's easier for me to install it on the head now rather than later. Torque the manifold nuts in 2 stages. First stage, 168 inch-pounds. Second stage, 18 feet-pounds. The same procedure applies for the driver's side. Install the camshaft position sensors. Tighten the retaining bolt to 89 inch-pounds, 10 millimeters. This procedure applies to both passenger and driver side camshaft position sensors. Now remove all components from the top of the cylinder head, because everything was only finger tight from the machine shop. Without the camshaft bearing caps and cams, we can see the lifters right there. I have to take them out to lubricate them with new engine oil. Let's coat the new head bolts with engine oil before installing them, but don't let them leak oil. If you install them dripping oil, that oil will go between the engine block, head gasket, and cylinder head, and the gasket won't seal properly. That is because the head bolts have not been tightened yet. and the oil can go through the mating surfaces very easily. You'll lose all the hard work you've done. Remember, you cannot reuse the old bolts since they're torqued to yield, so we use new head bolts. Alright, first mistake here. The head bolt has to be installed before the cam sensor. So now I have to remove the sensor to install the bolt. Thank God it's not a big deal. Now install the new head bolts by hand to ensure they thread in smoothly before torquing. Alright, the torque sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Torque the bolts in 5 stages. First stage, 177 inch-pounds. Sorry, this torque wrench doesn't click loud, but the torque is fine. Second stage, 26 foot-pounds. Third stage, 90 degrees. For the 90 degrees, you can mark the head of the bolts if you want to, but in my case, I don't do that because I know where to stop with the torque wrench. Fourth stage, another 90 degrees. Fifth stage, 45 degrees. And don't forget the small 8mm bolt at 89 inch-pounds. Now take out all the lifters to lubricate them in and out with new engine oil. Lubricating moving parts, e.g. camshaft journals, lifters, helps prevent dry starts, ensures smoother operation upon initial startup. Using clean engine oil avoids introducing debris into the system. Lubricate the cylinder head before installing the camshafts. I forgot to show this 8mm bolt. Torque it at 89 inch-pounds. Before installing the camshafts, ensure the crankshaft remains in the freewheeling position. Crankshaft dowel pin at 9 o'clock. Failing to follow this instruction from Ford may result in engine damage. Lubricate the camshafts before installing them. For now, I'm just going to place it in the spot, and I'll come back to position it later. I'll remember that the camshaft seals gap stays at the 12 o'clock position when the camshafts are on time. Failure to follow these instructions from Ford, engine damage may occur. Coat the camshaft caps with oil before installing them. I'll show you the number and location of every camshaft cap, just in case anyone needs to know. I installed all camshaft caps by hand only. I'm coming back to them later. I still have to install the valve train oil tube here. Now I'm going to pull out the camshafts, cam caps, and lifters from this head, same as the other one, since everything was put in by hand. So at this stage, crankshaft stays in the freewheeling position, dowel pin at 9 o'clock. This position keeps pistons away from TDC, so there's no risk of valve-to-piston contact while installing the camshafts. That's how the two-cylinder heads look now. Everything is installed by hand, nothing tightened yet. That is the location of the camshaft caps. Maybe you can see the numbers better in the image right there. Position the valve train oil tube in place. Install the 3 bolts and torque them to 71 Nm, 8 mm. Turn each bolt an additional 45 degrees. Lubricate mega cap. Apply clean engine oil to all necessary contact points on the mega cap before installation. Remember, the mega cap is also the housing for the VCT oil control solenoids. Install second valve train oil tube. Position the remaining valve train oil tube. Install the bolts and torque to 71 N-pounds, then add 45 rotation. The camshaft seals have been replaced, and their locating gaps, or split points, stay at the 12 o'clock position once the camshafts are correctly timed. Install the upper timing chain guide. Install the retaining bolt by hand first to avoid cross-threading. Torque the bolt to 89 N-pound, which is about 7.4 feet-pound. Install the other timing chain guide. Again, start the bolt by hand. Torque the bolt to 89 N-pound with the torque wrench. Remove the secondary timing chain tensioner shoe from the left cylinder head and replace it with a new one. Lubricate the area where the shoe is going to seat and lubricate the shoe as well. This is the part number for the shoe. Insert the shoe until you hear a click. Lubricate the bore where the tensioner will be installed. Lubricate the secondary timing chain tensioners, including the O-ring. Insert the tensioner until you hear a click, and pull out the plastic clip. Here is the part number for the tensioners. Now install the secondary timing chain tensioner on the right cylinder head and ensure to lubricate the O-rings to avoid damage and for easy installation. Here is the part number for the tensioners. And finally, pull out the plastic clip. Alright, I'm going to rotate the camshafts to set them on time. I'll be using this socket on the bolt to turn them, so the tip of the bolt doesn't bottom out against the hole in the camshaft and cause any potential damage. Before rotating the camshafts, make sure to lubricate them with engine oil. Even if the entire cylinder head has already been well lubricated, it doesn't hurt to apply a bit more for extra protection. If you don't have the proper camshaft holding tools, you can use wrenches or any other secure method that works for you. However, once the engine has been set to the correct timing, neither the camshafts nor the crankshaft should move. Doing so could cause serious engine damage. Now, I'm going to hold the camshaft with this tool here because I don't have the proper cam holding tools. Whatever you use, make sure it doesn't come into contact with the lobes or the journals of the camshaft. Otherwise, you could scratch or even damage them, and you definitely don't want that to happen. Alright, this is the setup with the cam phasers and the secondary timing chain for the camshafts on cylinder head number 1. The highlighted link of the timing chain lines up with the timing mark on the cam phaser, and on the other one, the letter R lines up with the highlighted link of the timing chain. This hole here fits onto the pin of the camshaft, and this hole on the other cam phaser fits onto the pin of the other camshaft. Putting them in this position gives you a better view of all the timing marks on the cam phasers and the colored links on the timing chain lining up. Now, this is the opposite for the driver's side, because the letter L is the one that will be lining up with the colored link on the secondary timing chain. Sometimes it is necessary to slightly rotate the camshafts to align their locating pins with the holes on the timing chain sprockets. If this is the case, make sure to have a helper, one person rotating the camshafts while the other installs the phasers. Install the new bolts finger tight only for now and ensure you have already lubricated them. However, avoid letting them leak oil, as too much oil on the bolts can interfere when torquing them. Always lubricate the area prior to installing the cam phasers. This is the setup for the driver's side. Notice the letter L on the cam phaser lining up with the colored link on the secondary timing chain, and the other timing mark, dot, on the cam phaser lining up with the colored link of the timing chain. Let's install it. Remember, in some cases it is necessary to rotate the cams slightly, so the pins on the cams fit into the holes of the cam phasers. Sometimes you have to play with them a bit to get them in place. Pay attention here. One bolt is slightly bigger than the other. The shorter bolt is designed for the larger cam phaser. Make sure you install each in its correct position and don't swap them, or you could damage the threads or the phaser. Alright, time to torque down the cam phaser bolts. First stage, 30 foot-pounds. I'm using this wrench here to keep the cams from spinning while I tighten them up. Second stage, loosen the bolts a full turn, then use a marker to mark the top of the bolts. Anyway, a full turn should be 360 degrees. Third stage, 18 foot-pounds. For the last stage, I'm erasing the marks I did prior to the third stage because I don't want to get confused with old and new marks. Okay, let's tighten these bolts an additional 180 degrees, and I should be done tightening these bolts. By the way, these bolts are T60 just in case. Alright, done, and this exact torque applies for the other two cams, so now you know it. Alright, torque the camshaft bearing caps, valve train oil tube, and the mega cap to 71 inch-pounds, plus an additional 45 degrees. The same applies for this cylinder head as well. At this stage, you'll want to bring the crankshaft from the freewheeling position, dowel pin at 9 o'clock, back to its proper timed position so the camshafts and crank are all synchronized before installing the primary timing chain. With the crankshaft timing mark dot aligned at the correct position, about the 5 o'clock position, and the crankshaft dowel pin pointing at 11 o'clock, we are now almost ready to install the timing chain. First, let's replace the crankshaft timing chain sprocket. This is the new one. Remember, the timing mark, which is the dot, stays facing out. And I showed the part info for the timing chain kit in the previous video. Now this is where the colored links of the secondary timing chain remain, but you shouldn't focus on them too much. As long as you installed the phasers in the proper position, meaning the cam pins went into the holes of the phasers and the bolts were torqued to the manufacturer's specifications, you shouldn't have any issues, even if the cams seem slightly out of time at this stage. This is because sometimes you still need to rotate the cams when installing the primary timing chain to align all timing marks, especially if the cams or the crankshaft were slightly out of time beforehand. Before installing the primary timing chain, apply clean engine oil to all timing gears, the secondary timing chain, and the crankshaft sprocket to ensure proper lubrication for a smooth initial engine startup. Want to see the primary timing chain install? Don't miss part 3. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, share it with friends, drop a comment, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. Stay blessed, and see you in the next one.